having video stopped for just a moment.
Okay, we're back.
Okay. At any rate, I've done a lot of work on myself. I can look in the mirror and maybe not absolutely love me, but I like who I see. After I get over seeing the old guy who's staring back at me, because I don't look like this in my mind. I look about 20 years younger. But that's okay too, you know. And but I am happy with who I am, and I don't do things that I don't want to do.
Did it go well for you?
Pardon?
Did it go well for you to make that choice? Not doing things you don't want to do?
Well, I had to learn a lot about myself and the reason that I was doing what I was doing, which was how could I be a good person if I didn't work myself to the bone, you know? And I've used my body a lot, not because of overwork and that sort of thing, and I've gone through cancer and other things, and you know, the universe was telling me, you know, what you're doing isn't really good for you, and I didn't pay any attention to it for a long time. And but I do now pay attention to that. Back in March, my heart stopped for about 10 minutes, and I ended up going through all sorts of things. I'm perfectly healthy now. But in that time period, I really had to make a decision of whether I wanted to live or not. And up until that point, it was sort of, well, maybe, yes, no, but I do really want to live now. The interesting part is that whole experience didn't have the least bit of fear involved with it, and I sort of thought maybe it would have, but it didn't. And it doesn't really have any emotional pull to me. But the thing that's happened that I really miss and would really like to have back in my life, but it doesn't seem to be there, is the one thing about being driven is that you work in a project and you get very excited about it, and you pour yourself into it, and there's a part of me that really enjoys that, even if it isn't particularly healthy. But I don't feel that anymore. I don't have anything in life that just grabs me and says, oh, you got to go do this. I'm pretty happy to sort of observe what's going on, and I sort of wish there was things going on in my life that just, you know,
Captivated you.
Captivated me, but it's just not happening. And that's not to say that I'm not happy, because I really am. But what I'm wondering is, does that matter at all? You know, should the desire for what you're doing in life, does it really have to be something that really grabs you? Because
Yes, because you're talking about inspiration, which is the whole reason you're here.
That's true, and I'd like to be inspired again. And
Inspiration and joy are very similar vibrations.
Yeah. There is a satisfaction in just being. I love being in the moment.
But you came here to be a creator.
I did come here to be a creator, and
That's another issue, is that a lot of our spiritual traditions say you came here just to be an observer. You'll be happier when you become an observer. And the reality is you came here to be a creator. You came here to mold non-physical energy into physical energy. Everything starts as an idea, then it becomes a product. That's creation.
yeah.
So, yes, in a way you have stepped out of living.
Yeah, it's out of sync.
So the question is, how much new stuff have you been trying?
Well,
Because from our
not a
perspective,
lot.
this is a reset.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. What is it that I really want to do? And that's a sort of a blank.
That's when you should start trying things.
Yeah.
So what I mean by reset is a lot of times people will go through something where, you know, like a near-death experience, and we consider that an actual death.
Yeah.
It is a death of your prior self. Now, just like you were a baby, you've been reset.
Yeah.
A baby doesn't know what it wants to do from the get-go. It doesn't know it's going to like baseball.
No.
But one day it's going to just try baseball and realize that's the thing. So you're in this unique place where right now the answer for you is to start trying as many new things as you possibly can try, which simultaneously is going to keep you a lot younger. The reason aging happens, especially mentally, you know, the real reason behind Alzheimer's is because your brain will begin to atrophy when you don't try things that are new. So
Yeah.
you see this pattern. That's why we see aging at a specific age. It's not because of anything in the genetic code. It's because you have this very steep learning curve, and then you hit your 20s, and you usually pick a profession then, and pretty much, even though you may learn some things, you're doing the same skills over and over again.
Yeah.
You atrophy. If you were to learn a new sport, learn a new language, anything like that, your brain would not atrophy. You couldn't age like you're aging. So you want to try things,
Yeah.
all kinds of things. Even if you're, I mean, do whatever you're compelled to try, but like, it's not going to hurt anything if you try something you're not even particularly drawn to, just for the sake of knowing more what you don't want, potentially, or more what you do want. That's the worst that can happen. I try something I hate and I know what I don't want. I try something I love it, oh my gosh, potentially I have that passion back.
Yeah. The problem is that what has the skills that I have that have given me passion aren't. And so I have a lifetime of an occupation that I'm really good at. And but then again, I guess that doesn't really matter either. If it's time to change, it's time to
Yeah,
change.
it doesn't matter at all. In fact, we'd all let ourselves off the hook way easier and be happier in life if we'd stop convincing ourselves that what we need to do is to pick something and stick with it.
Yeah.
That's what we tell ourselves even relative to college. You got to pick something and stick with it. And if you don't stick with it, there's something about you that's failed.
Yeah.
That's not the way that you intended to live your life. You intended to come here and do whatever caused you passion in the moment. Doesn't matter whether you have 1,000 years of skill.
Yeah. Well, I think my soul really wants to be here. I don't think it did before. And so I'm just going to follow that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dump it. You're not going to lose the skills, just dump it.
Yeah. Well, very good. Thank you very much.
All right, who's next? Ooh. Hello.
Hi, Teal. I'm a body worker, and I recently had somebody who came to see me with Tourette's. And so I'm really curious about any insights that you have about working with that condition.
It's all about expression. People with Tourette's are really torn between suppression and expression, and so they're here to kind of highlight for us the amount that we don't say and don't do. So you'll watch, what you watch, the pattern vibrationally, if I'm watching somebody with Tourette's, they, like all of us, have a ton of energy that's moving through them, and you'll watch them suppress it, and then it comes through in these outbursts. Mm-hmm. So if we could enable them via body work or via voice work to express themselves completely with no judgment, you wouldn't watch the outbursts. The outburst is a result of fighting against it, the result of that resistance. Hello, lovey. Oh my gosh. So does that make sense relative to
It
what you're
does,
saying?
because during the session I could feel that there was an impulse of moving, and
Yeah.
then there was fighting against that
Yeah.
impulse. And I just really didn't know how to work with it, other than being a loving presence. But
Think expression with them constantly. Anything you can do to move energy outwards, anything you can get them to do to move energy is going to be a benefit to them. Oh my gosh, I love babies. I swear to God, you guys, it's killing me. No, like in a good way. That doesn't mean rush up and take the baby. See, that's what she's doing. I just got hit with, oh my God, no, I'm causing Teal problems.
thank you.
Yeah, let's walk around the stair. Oh my goodness. Wait, so your aunt, that was as easy as it was?
That was my question.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm in the hot seat. What?
Oh, darling.
What? Nobody's clapping at you.
Somebody's good with babies, my
So So I'm another healer, artist person, and so I'm completely, awed by you and where you're at, because I also have all these. I don't know if there's a way to make this taller. I have all these gifts also, and I am putting many of them to use, and then there are. Anyway, I just want to. I'm at a place where I want to build a bridge. I want to bridge. I finally have feel a lot of mastery with the skills that I use when I am working one-on-one with people, and I feel like I still feel intimidated, but I'm bursting to make the leap to work with more people, to reach more people. What I don't know exactly how. Facilitate groups, but I'm still holding myself back in the safety zone, and it's like not paying my expenses. It's anyway. So that's the challenging place. I get excited to move forward, but then I'm in that survival mindset of doing what's safe.
Okay, so for you, what's going to happen to you if you do this and really put yourself in front of people?
I mean, I'm doing that now. It just I'm more used to being in like the student position in some way, and when I've done it a little bit, like at expos, I really love it. I went to theater camp as a kid, so. I really love the part of being spontaneous, of not having a plan when I'm in front of people, and being surrendered and sometimes leading and all of that. But I think the thing that trips me up is the thinking about it.
Thinking about it. Explain.
Like I don't know, when I work with clients, I don't really have to think about it. They call me, or they find me, or they're referred, and they just come in and they sit down, and I know what to do.
So why is that any different if you expand this?
I know it's not, and that's what I facilitate Dolores Cannon, quantum healing hypnosis. So with Audrey, she led me in a session, and that was the guidance. Like I don't know how many years ago, the guidance from my big infinite self was. There's no difference. It was like, yeah, like you're doing, but I just still feel like you're out there and I'm in here. And
why do you want to be out here? Because this is an interesting thing. You've got to. I want to purify this a bit, because you've got a vibration where, you know how we addressed earlier with this situation with the gym. Why do you want to go to the gym? There's some vibrations in you relative to being in the position where I'm out there, where you are going to be out there, which aren't actually in alignment.
Well, one thing is I'd like to be able to pay my bills. And right now I'm like doing the opposite of paying my bills. I'm really good, like what you said at the buffet, I'm really good at like every shiny thing I see, I want it. And I live in Santa Fe, where like events like this, I'm like the Walmart meltdown tantrum kid that never limits myself. I go, oh, I see this, I want it. But I feel like there's something about freedom and like part of.
So here's the issue.
Freedom and being locked up. Yes. Like I feel like a little locked up now, yes, because I know I have the potential, and like you said to someone else, everyone out here can see it, I'm outgoing, but there's some part of me that's not allowing it.
Ready for the locked up part? The locked up part is that I want abundance, and I'm convinced it can only come to me in this way. So you've got yourself pigeonholed, ironically, into the identity of a healer.
Right, and I'm a lot more because I want to write books, and I'd like to do something with music, mm-hmm, and poetry flows through, and
yes,
and I love dance. And
so the universe is saying, okay, there's like about 1 billion ways you could make money. And when I say, okay, well, the reason I want to be really in front of people doing the kind of thing that you're doing is because because of abundance, the universe is going, well, who the hell says that that's the way that it's going to come to you? In fact, you're limiting
But
me.
I've gotten messages out at Start Dreaming last September. The message came through to me was, like, you're going to take theta healing to Africa, like what you said about travel. So it's like I'm getting all this amazing.
Yes, that's a different story, though,
Yeah.
than abundance.
Yeah, but that feels like the true abundance because, part of the true abundance because it's about doing what I love and serve and
You're going to do that no matter what.
Okay.
So we don't even need to have that conversation. Why? Because you're going to do it anyways. All of the stuff that you've foreseen, you're doing. You're going to do it. But the real issue for you is about manifesting abundance. So it's not a healing issue. If you want to be in front of
I'm
people,
helping everybody else with all these things. That's the part that I think some other Santa Feans might relate to too. That it's really easy for me to help people clear their biggest blocks. And I see, I was invited to an art opening tonight of someone I worked with. It's just, but I still have, have them.
Your big block is abundance. So it's.
But I'm abundant. Like everyone sees me as really abundant.
You don't see you as abundant.
No. No, yeah, and there's a huge, I think I've discovered that in an art, when I did a self-portrait class with an amazing artist friend, and he saw that there were two different approaches I had to the drawing assignments, and in one, when it pertained to everyone else, I was really limitless.
Yeah.
And then when I came back and was portraying just me, I was like doing it in a real realistic, really boxed in, limited way.
That's because it makes you a good person to not want money.
But I would never aspire to not make money intentionally. It doesn't inspire anybody to come and work with me that I don't make money.
But you're still caught, like many healers are caught, in this sort of place where you're not so sure whether that's an okay priority.
I know. I have one parent role model who's like taught me I can do anything, and I heard him say this to my cousin on a vacation, in California. He told my 18-year-old cousin, like, "Oh, anything you can imagine, you can create it." And then I have another set of tapes that say, "Whatever you fear the most, you can create that."
Okay, if I were in your position, this is what I'd do. I'd stop focusing on healing and that kind of thing in terms of, see, you're saying, okay, it's not appropriate for me to go and just literally have a goal of money. So I'm going to put all this energy into all these other things and hope that it yields money, because I think it will yield money, because you're preventing yourself. So it's like...
But money in itself has never floated my boat. Like when I've dedicated my life to money, it's really sucked.
Do you think that the universe is...
Like corporate money, it's like...
But this, you see the lie here? The
I was
lie
like
here
a
is
robot.
that we tell the lie that that's what abundance is. If we commit ourselves to money, that's the thing that's keeping you. If I commit myself to money, then I'm going to end up back on the corporate boat miserable. That's not what's going to happen. If you commit yourself to money, say, okay, this is what I want. Universe, please, this is my thing. Okay, I'm going to align myself with finances. That's what I'm going to visualize coming into my life. I'm going to start treating money differently, a little bit more like air. Every time I spend money, I'm not going to do what I currently do, which is spend money and feel crappy about it when I do it.
Well, I bought one of your prints I feel really good about. I bought joy.
See, that's abundance. So if you don't feel guilty about it, that's appropriate.
Yeah.
It's just you're going to start doing more things like that and stop worrying about how the universe is going to provide it to you. Because that's the only point at which you're going to get the inspiration. Right now you're trying to do this hard work of okay, I'll start this thing, maybe it's a workshop series, or I'll hold this group and maybe I'll charge this much money for it. That's a lot more difficult than doing it this way, where I'm focused on abundance and then suddenly I wake up in the morning and I have this inspiration to do something. And I'll act on the inspiration. Maybe it's write a book.
Yeah, there are ideas coming in that feel like doodling, like that I had a theta healing app on my phone. It's from Australia, and I think it's even free. And there was a question about support. When did you feel the most supported? When did you not feel the most supported? And I had this playful image that I could take things like that and just do what I do around them, and then it didn't feel like work. It felt like fun.
Exactly, which is how it should feel.
Yeah.
So you have already asked for abundance. If you were able to allow yourself to do whatever felt good in the moment, and not guilt yourself about it, I'm bringing it back to guilt because that's an issue for you. You tend to do things. You're the kind of person, we call you an impulsive type. The impulsive types, even though they won't let themselves be held back necessarily by their own guilt, they still have it. So we've got a whole bunch of people here that would say, oh, I really want that, but I'm not going to spend money on it. So, but you...
I usually spend money that I don't even have, and then catch up a couple weeks later, and I say, I'm going to tell the universe I want to do all these things, and I just do them, figuring lots of other people won't even do that, so I may as well enjoy as much as I can.
Yeah, it's true, but like if you were able to take the money and spend it and feel good about it, that would be one thing. But what you usually do is you take the money you spend and you go, oh my gosh, I'm so irresponsible. Or you spend it in the middle of spending it, you're thinking, oh my gosh, I really shouldn't be spending this money. So even you spending money is not actually coming from a positive emotional space. If you were able to spend money and feel great about it, guess what? You would be inviting abundance into your reality. But every time you spend a dime, you keep focusing on lack.
So it's like I'm squeezing the abundance
Yes.
and limiting it.
Yes, you're limiting the intake. You're not limiting the out, which is good. It means you're in a better place than a lot of people, because a lot of people limit both. But you don't limit it this way, but you limit it this way. So I would say, quit thinking about not spending on all of this stuff. Start thinking about more bringing it in. Not how it's going to come in, because the how is not your job. Anytime you're thinking about how, which is really why I started, when I was sitting up here, I kind of called you on whether you really wanted to be doing whatever it is you perceive that I'm doing, or being more in the I, or whether that has more to do with you thinking that's how this abundance is going to come to you.
I just want, I know purpose is so important, so I want to align with mine. I just want to align with mine here and now, and let all the gifts flow. And so you're like, what you're saying is
That's
making it sound like I have some training from my childhood or whatever, where I've learned to
Pinch it off, yes.
pinch it off and go, oh, I have to be unabundant like these other suckers to fit in or something.
Yeah. Oh, and you picked an especially interesting profession for that one. How many people here subscribe to the idea that to live a spiritual type life, you can't mix money in with it, or else you've gone corrupt?
I don't know, I'm kind of blanking out. You're not saying that I have that, are you?
Oh, yeah.
What is it again? I might need to hear it.
If I truly care about healing and about spiritual stuff, I can't care about money at the same time and remain a good person. Oh, it's a belief that so many healers have, and it's propagated
My
in the
friend's
spiritual
clapping
community.
who used to not accept money, but now she's got her bills paid and I don't.
Good friend to have.
Huh?
Sounds like a good friend to have.
Yeah, she is.
Because that's a good example. What you'll find when you start saying, you know what, I actually like money. Let's just go in the direction of money, because money is no more meaningful or meaningless than an ice cream cone. It's it's interesting, because from our perspective, it's like we think that money equals greed. Money actually has nothing to do with greed. The focus on I don't have enough has to do with greed. Enough of anything. That's what causes people to become greedy and become corrupt. So if that vibration isn't present, it's not about the money. It's like from Source perspective, we're kind of going, I can't hold a spiritual profession and really care about healing people and like ice cream at the same time. That would be so wrong.
I feel like I'm going to need to watch this again together. It's too close to home for me, but you make it look like really free and easy when you're sitting on that side.
Oh, it's super easy for me.
Talking about
It's
it.
super free and easy. Really, life is not this hard, but if I was to give you a suggestion, which is something you will be able to hear, separate of watching the tape again. It's that you're a how person. To be a how person is a profoundly painful state.
What's that mean, a how person?
It means you're taking the power away from the universe and you're playing God. It means you're saying, I want abundance and this is how abundance will come. I want a good relationship and this is the person that this sort of relationship will come through. The how is not your job. If you want happiness and you say, this is going to make me happy, that's a how.
Well, I thought I had to tell the universe, this is how I want it to look the way I want to live as opposed to the way I don't want to live.
It's a good exercise, but look, this is super important for everybody watching. When I say, I'm going to tell the universe specifically, let's say I want abundance, and I say, this is how abundance is going to come to me. It's going to come to me through me being a spiritual person that's up on stage talking in front of a lot of people instead of one person coming to me at a time. What I have just done is I've made the universe come through a spot about that big. The universe will yield to you, of course it will. It'll be like, yeah, whatever you want. But if I say, this is how the abundance is going to come to me, now the universe is restricted to that. Now, I haven't told the universe, P.S., I have an inheritance I didn't know about, P.S., I win the lottery over here, or P.S., there's something else that I have this major talent doing that I don't even know of now.
Well, I would actually rather just live a joyful, blissful life than any of the specifics, like the beach girl.
Oh my goodness. Well, then that's what you should be doing. Because here's the thing. What you'll find actually is in the very beginning of this process, for those of us that are mind creates reality people, which we all are, we begin by getting really specific. The only reason we want to be specific is because it's more believable. So when I do this visual and I make it very real to me, I do that by adding details, which you'll see me tell you. By the way, if you want this visualization to be more believable, add insignificant details that will make it more believable to your mind. But really, that's all we're doing with what you're saying. The specifics make it believable. But once we have the kind of mind, like you have now, because you've been practicing this for a while, where you can make things believable to you, you'll notice that people start off practicing, and they're very specific, and what they end up doing is being non-specific. Why? Because if you say, I want joy, and you visualize what joy feels like to you, guess what you've done? You haven't limited the universe at all. You've said, I want joy. Guess who knows the fastest route between A and B? The universe knows the fastest route between A and B.
Right. I guess what's popping in my awareness is that I didn't really realize, but like I think the insecure part of me was like really wanted to impress people outside of me that don't give a shit. Like I'm gonna go to my 30th reunion, and I'm going in a place where when I tell people what I do, they're gonna laugh and be freaked out, and they don't even understand it anyway. So now that I've like reached these goals to impress people, it doesn't really get me anything anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So I can do more like you did and just travel around and enjoy life and not worry about it.
Oh yeah. And ironically, when I say, I want happy, so this is the story we'd like to tell ourselves, which is yet again another lie. We tell ourselves this story, oh my gosh, if I visualize being happy, I'm going to be super, super happy, but really poor. Really? We're telling that story again? Because the universe is not intelligent enough to know that part of your joy is money.
Right, and I've also saved like working out for my next life because I didn't love PE. But I actually would really love to be in motion, you know, like to dance and to be a physical being, because I am. So.
Dancing is in all of your life paths. So it's about time to pick it up.
Dancing is what?
It's in all of your life paths.
Oh, cool. All right, I guess that's it, huh?
Yeah, just focus on joy. Doesn't this sound like a theme?
All right, you're all invited. Fantuzzi's coming tonight to Pachamama. I don't know how many people fit in that place.
Don't you love that this is sort of the answer? It's like we could make this real quick, and these workshops could last for about 3 seconds, and I could literally tell you the answer to life. Care how you feel, focus on what feels good, follow joy. End of story.
Thank you. I'll accept that.
Okay, good. And I promise you, when you start doing that, if you focus on what happiness looks like, it is a vibrational impossibility that abundance won't be a part of it.
I've got a lot of it going and rolling, but sometimes I just put it off and say like, okay, well next week I'll enjoy my life. And
Sounds like the human condition.
yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I do one more question. We always go over time.
Hello.
Hello.
Actually, is it all right to have no question?
Yeah, it's okay. We can sit here together. See, we're actually having a conversation. God, I love how many contracts we've had. This is good. This interaction is meant to inspire me towards what I'm about to end with. You ready? All right, to close, there's a lot of confusion here about predestiny versus our own free will. And it isn't a contradiction. When you set forth from non-physical perspective what kind of life you want to be living, which is why you choose this perspective versus that perspective, that is a choice of free will. So the only time that we feel as if our free will is not our free will is when we forget the fact that even the choice to come into this in the first place was a choice we made from an aspect of free will. Your free will is an absolute of your existence. There is no God that is higher than you that's sitting here that is convinced of a reality which you are meant to live. I really wish I could express to you the way that it is from non-physical perspective, where there's all this anticipation about what it is that you'll choose for yourself. So we don't need to worry that we're off the path. A lot of us who sit down in front of me are worried that we're off the path we were intended for. I'm pausing there for a minute because it's the collective thing. I'm worried I'm off the path. It's impossible for you to be off the path. Even the feeling I might be off the path is you just questioning in order to go in the direction of where you're meant to go. That doesn't mean you're off the path. It's impossible for you to avoid your life purpose. That's why I don't spend a lot of time here talking to the general demographic on Earth about your purpose and how to find your purpose. Why? Because it does not matter at all, because you're going to. The reason I say your purpose is joy is the minute you start going in the direction of joy, you find what people call purpose, which might be me sitting on stage, which might be this person being a doctor, which might be this person being a professional dancer. All of that is the byproduct of following joy. So that is the free will that you have. The free will that you have here in your physical life is I get to choose the thoughts I think and choose the experiences which I have here. I get to choose whatever causes me to feel joy. And that is my purpose. There is no other purpose for anyone on earth other than that. Your purpose is the byproduct of you chasing your joy. And the universe does not know what that is. So we want to stop thinking about, oh, the universe knows what I was meant to do here in this life, and I just got to catch up to that purpose, which the universe knows, and I don't know yet. It doesn't know what your purpose is. You came down for an intention. That's the only reason you're here. You had an intention for being here. But now that you're here, guess what? No one knows what your purpose is. So you're not trying to catch up to anything. What you are trying to do is decide right here in this moment what would bring me the most joy. What food could I eat that would bring me the most joy? What thought could I think that would bring me the most joy? What words could I say to somebody that would bring me the most joy? And if you live that way, your whole life just starts playing out like a yellow brick road in front of you. No confusion, no resistance. And life starts looking really good. So, thank you for joining me in this incredible vortex spot. This has been a super great workshop. I love you. How's your belly? Fabulous.
You never get your little crystals. You're supposed to give them to whoever